Ethan Vance had never thought he would be at an interstellar ship auction. The blinking lights, the booming voice of the auctioneer, and the constant hum of engines being tested around him made his heart race. Space travel was risky, but for someone like him, a pilot with more ambition than money, it was also the best place to find opportunity. He had been searching for months for a ship that was fast, reliable, and not too expensive. His previous ship, a small freighter barely capable of carrying half the cargo he wanted, had been destroyed during a run through the asteroid belt of Rigel 7. Now, he had some credits saved and the desire to make a fresh start. The auction hall was massive. Ships of all shapes and sizes hovered above the polished floors, suspended by anti-gravity fields. Some were sleek, designed for speed and elegance, others were bulky, made for cargo or heavy transport. Ethan scanned the listings on his tablet, but most of the ships were either too expensive or too worn down. Then, he saw it. The Star Warden. The description was almost unbelievable. Legendary freighter, lightly used, equipped with advanced navigation systems, rare stealth features, capable of long-range jumps. The price was high, but still within Ethan's budget if he was willing to gamble. He leaned forward, eyes glinting with excitement. "Do you want this one, kid?" asked a gruff voice next to him. Ethan looked at the man. It was a fellow bidder, much older, with a scar running across his cheek. I think so," Ethan admitted. "It's perfect for what I need." The auctioneer's voice boomed over the hall. "And now we start bidding for the Star Warden. Opening bid 120,000 credits. Ethan's heart pounded. He raised his bid slowly, carefully. Another bidder countered, and Ethan adjusted. He wasn't going to get cold feet now. After tense minutes filled with fast bids and the sound of clicking buttons, Ethan held his breath as he made his final bid. "Sold," the auctioneer shouted. Ethan blinked. He had actually won. The transport of the ship from the auction hall to the docking bay was smooth, and soon Ethan found himself standing in front of his new purchase. The Star Warden was even more beautiful in person. Its hull gleamed under the hangar lights, and sleek lines suggested both speed and durability. Ethan ran his hand along the surface. "This is it," he whispered. "Finally my ship." But as he opened the hatch to board, he froze. There was a movement inside. A figure partially hidden in the shadows of the cockpit looked up at him. It was a woman. Not human. Her skin shimmered slightly, a soft iridescent color that changed with the light. Her eyes were larger than human eyes, deep violet with flecks of gold. Her hair, long and silver, flowed like liquid under the lights. She looked startled, but also very aware of him. Who are you?" Ethan asked, stepping back slightly. His hand hovered near his utility belt just in case. The alien woman's voice was calm, clear, and musical. "I am Lyra. I am part of this ship. You have purchased it, but you did not know about me." Ethan blinked. "Part of the ship?" Lyra stood, her movements graceful and controlled. "Yes, I am bonded to the Star Warden. I operate it, maintain it, and protect it. By the laws of my people, ownership of the ship includes me. I am. My people call it a companion pilot." Ethan stared. He had expected surprises, maybe hidden compartments, maybe some secret advanced tech, but not a living being who claimed ownership of the ship. I didn't know there would be a person here," he said carefully. "I just wanted the ship." Lyra's expression softened slightly, though her eyes remained sharp. "I did not choose you either. But we are here now and the rules are clear. We must work together." Ethan rubbed his forehead. This was not in any manual. He had read every word about the ship before bidding. Not once had it mentioned a living companion. But something in Lyra's calm, confident stance told him she was not going to leave quietly. "All right," he said slowly. I guess we have to figure this out." Lyra inclined her head. "Yes, there is much to learn. The ship's systems are complex. I can assist, but you must follow my guidance for proper operation. If you ignore me, the ship may malfunction." Ethan's curiosity overcame his caution. "Show me." For the next few hours, Lyra guided Ethan through the ship's systems. She explained navigation controls, energy distribution, weapon systems, and even the small quirks of the ship that only someone bonded to it could know. Ethan was amazed. Even though he was a skilled pilot, he had never encountered a ship that seemed almost alive in its operation. "What exactly is the ship's special feature?" he asked, studying the console as lights and holograms shifted under his hands. Lyra smiled faintly. "It can jump farther than most freighters. It can cloak from sensors, and it can interface with certain alien networks that humans rarely access. But it requires cooperation, not just skill. We must work together." Ethan nodded, impressed and slightly intimidated. All right, Lyra, I'll try. You will, she said simply. There was no doubt in her voice. The next day, Ethan attempted a simple test flight. He had prepared for months, but with Lyra's guidance, everything felt different. She anticipated problems he didn't even notice, suggested maneuvers he never would have tried, and explained the alien logic behind each system. Despite her precision, Lyra was not controlling everything. Ethan still had freedom, and his instincts as a human pilot made several maneuvers faster or more creative than she expected. The combination of human intuition and alien skill made the ship feel unstoppable. During the flight, Ethan noticed something else. Lyra watched him carefully, not just guiding, but observing. Occasionally, she would tilt her head as if studying his decisions. You humans are interesting, she said finally. You take risks, make mistakes, yet often find solutions that logic alone would not produce. Ethan chuckled. We don't have all the answers. We improvise. Lyra tilted her head, curious. Improvise. That is your strength. And your weakness, Ethan grinned. I'll take it as a compliment. By the time they returned to the docking bay, Ethan felt exhausted but exhilarated. He had purchased a ship, yes, but he had also gained a partner unlike any he had imagined. Lyra had skill, intelligence, and a presence that was impossible to ignore. And though he did not yet understand everything about her or her culture, he knew one thing. Their journey together was only beginning. As he climbed out of the cockpit, Ethan glanced at her. All right, Lyra, we make a good team. But don't expect me to follow every rule blindly. Lyra's violet eyes sparkled with amusement. I do not expect blind obedience, but I do expect respect and effort. Humans have potential. I will test yours. Ethan laughed, feeling more alive than he had in months. Challenge accepted. Above the hangar, the stars of the galaxy twinkled, vast and endless. And somewhere out there, 1,000 adventures waited, some dangerous, some thrilling, all unknown. For Ethan and Lyra, the unexpected purchase of a ship had become the beginning of something far greater than either of them could have imagined, and neither of them had any idea just how much the universe would test their partnership or how much humanity's creativity and courage would shine in ways the galaxy had never seen. The hangar lights dimmed as Ethan prepared the Star Warden for its first real journey. Lyra hovered near the control panel, her long, silver hair catching the soft glow of the displays. Ethan ran his fingers over the console, feeling the smooth metal, and inhaled deeply. This was no longer a test flight. They were going out into open space beyond the familiar lanes to see what the ship and his new companion could really do. Are you sure we should take it this far on the first run? Ethan asked, glancing at Lyra. She tilted her head, eyes narrowing thoughtfully. The ship is ready. You are ready, mostly. But there are things you do not understand. Your species is unpredictable. That could be a strength or a danger. Ethan chuckled nervously. I'll try not to break anything. Lyra's eyes glimmered with amusement. It is not just a matter of breaking. Improper operation can lead to loss of systems or worse, damage to the ship's core. I suggest caution, not recklessness. Ethan nodded, feeling both excited and slightly intimidated. The weight of responsibility settled on his shoulders. This was not just a machine. It was something more, something alive in its own way because of Lyra. They lifted off the docking bay smoothly, the anti-gravity systems humming quietly beneath them. Ethan adjusted the thrusters and the ship responded like it had known him forever. Lyra monitored every movement, her fingers tracing holographic controls with precision. You humans are fascinating, she said after a pause. You rely on instinct, yet you manage to adapt in ways my calculations would never predict. Ethan smiled. That's what keeps us alive. Sometimes thinking too much just slows you down. Lyra's expression softened slightly. I see. And yet that same unpredictability could endanger both of us. Do not mistake my observation for criticism. I won't, Ethan replied, though he couldn't hide a small grin. I like having a critic on board, as long as they don't get in the way of flying. Lyra's violet eyes sparkled. I will not interfere, unless necessary. But I will not ignore danger. That is my nature. That is why I am bonded to this ship. Their first course was a routine supply delivery to a small outpost on the edge of the Theta 9 sector. Ethan had made the route simple, mostly straight lines with minimal jumps, but Lyra insisted on following precise maneuvers to conserve energy and avoid unstable gravitational pockets. This is unnecessary, Ethan said at one point, adjusting the navigation manually. We could cut 10 minutes off the trip if we take a direct path. Lyra's eyes narrowed. Direct paths do not account for hidden debris fields or energy fluctuations in the sector. You risk damaging vital systems. Trust the calculations. Trust me. Ethan sighed but returned control to her. Fine, but if we take forever, I'm blaming you. Her lips curved into the faintest smile. I accept full responsibility. If necessary. But patience is also a virtue your species underestimates. As the hours passed, Ethan began to notice something remarkable. Lyra's methods were precise, almost elegant, yet there was flexibility built in. She allowed him moments to steer, to make decisions, and then subtly corrected course. It was a delicate balance between control and cooperation. By the time they approached the outpost, Ethan felt the beginnings of respect and curiosity. Docking sequence initiated, Lyra announced, her hands moving quickly over the console. We must align with the outpost's magnetic field to avoid interference. Ethan leaned closer, fascinated. I've never seen docking done like this before. Why all the adjustments? Lyra's eyes glimmered as she explained. Your species often relies on brute force or repeated attempts. We rely on finesse. Small adjustments prevent damage and allow the ship to conserve energy for other systems. It is art in a sense. Ethan shook his head in amazement. Art in flying a ship. I guess humans have art too, just in different ways. They docked smoothly, far faster and safer than Ethan could have managed alone. Lyra's efficiency impressed him, but it also sparked a question he had been hesitant to ask. Lyra, why stay with the ship? Don't you want freedom? Lyra's expression darkened for a moment. Freedom is complicated. My species values duty and bonds. I am bound to this ship and to its rightful owner. That bond is both privilege and responsibility. It does not prevent freedom entirely, but it defines purpose. Ethan nodded slowly. He understood enough to respect her choices even if he couldn't fully comprehend them. I guess we all have some sort of duty in the end. Yes, she said softly. But humans, you often choose your own paths. That is why you are interesting. Inside the outpost, Ethan took care of routine business, unloading supplies, refueling the ship, and checking for system updates. Lyra stayed close, observing interactions between humans and other species with a keen, analytical eye. You watch everything, Ethan remarked, noticing her gaze on the bustling crowd. Lyra tilted her head. I must. Understanding different species, their behavior and logic is part of my duty. It is also educational. Ethan laughed. Educational, huh? I guess we can teach each other then. She gave him a look that was both amused and calculating. Perhaps, but I do not require lessons in basic survival. Your species shows creativity in those areas. I am more interested in learning flexibility. Your adaptability is remarkable. Ethan leaned back, letting the warmth of her words settle. It was strange to feel a connection with someone who was so different, yet so capable of understanding him in ways that no human ever had. The return trip to their home station was not as smooth. As they entered an uncharted sector, alarms blared. Ethan's stomach sank. What now? He asked, gripping the controls. Lyra's eyes narrowed. Sensors indicate an unknown vessel approaching. Its configuration is aggressive. Likely pirates or scavengers. Prepare for evasive maneuvers. Ethan's mind raced. This was not part of their training or plan. Evasive maneuvers and now? But we're in a straight path. There's no room to dodge. Lyra's hands moved over the controls with practiced precision. There is always room if you think differently, trust me. Follow my lead. The vessel appeared on the main screen, a menacing shape with dark plating and red markings. Ethan's pulse quickened. Lyra had him adjust thrusters in ways he had never imagined, weaving the ship through asteroids, gravitational eddies, and energy distortions. You humans, you think quickly, she said, her tone almost approving. But you hesitate sometimes. Hesitation can be fatal. Learn to act as one with the ship. Ethan nodded, teeth gritted, focusing on her instructions. For the first time, he felt completely reliant on someone else, and surprisingly, he trusted her. After tense minutes, they escaped the pirates' sensors, disappearing into a safe channel. Ethan exhaled, feeling the adrenaline leave his body. That it was too close. Lyra looked at him calmly. You survived because you listened, and because you adapted. Humans are unpredictable, in good ways. Ethan allowed himself a small grin. I'll take that as a compliment again. Back at the home station, Ethan realized something had changed. The tension between him and Lyra had shifted into something deeper: curiosity, respect, and cautious trust. He had never imagined that buying a ship would lead to discovering an alien companion who could challenge his skills, push his limits, and teach him lessons no human could. You handled yourself well, Lyra said as they docked. But this is only the beginning. Space is vast. There are many dangers and opportunities. Ethan leaned back, watching the stars through the observation window. Then we better be ready, Lyra. I have a feeling things are about to get a lot more interesting. Lyra's eyes glimmered in the dim light. Indeed, and your species may surprise even me. As they prepared the ship for maintenance and resupply, Ethan felt a sense of anticipation he hadn't felt in years. Their partnership, strange as it was, promised adventure, danger, and discovery. And more than anything, it promised a chance to see what humans could accomplish. Not just as individuals, but as part of something greater. Somewhere deep in the cosmos, unknown threats and mysteries awaited. But Ethan now had a ship, a companion, and a growing confidence that together, they could face whatever the galaxy threw at them. And for the first time in his life, he didn't feel alone in space. Ethan Vance stood at the edge of the docking platform, watching the lights of the Star Warden shimmer in the night. The station around him was quiet, with only a few cargo ships moving in and out. He took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility pressing on his shoulders. Ready? Lyra asked, her violet eyes focused and alert. Ethan nodded, gripping his flight controls tightly. As ready as I'll ever be. Let's see what this ship can really do. Lyra's lips curved into the faintest smile. Do not underestimate the challenges ahead. The mission is simple, but simplicity can hide danger. Their task was straightforward: deliver emergency supplies to a research outpost on the edge of the Helix Nebula. The route was mostly uncharted, filled with gravitational anomalies and small asteroid clusters. Ethan had planned a direct path, but Lyra insisted on minor adjustments at every jump, making the journey slightly longer but far safer. Every small correction matters, she explained. A single miscalculation in this sector could damage the hull or waste precious fuel. Ethan bit his lip. You're starting to sound like a human instructor. I didn't know alien pilots cared about fuel efficiency. Lyra's gaze held steady. We value life and resources. Your species often ignores efficiency, relying on improvisation instead. That can work, sometimes, but not always. Ethan shook his head, trying to hide a grin. All right, I'll follow your lead. The first jump went smoothly. The stars stretched into streaks as the Star Warden slipped through hyperspace. Ethan marveled at how the ship responded under Lyra's guidance. Every adjustment was precise, almost instinctual. He realized how much he had underestimated her skills. You humans are adaptable, Lyra said quietly, breaking the silence. Even when you do not understand, you learn quickly. Ethan smiled faintly. And you aliens are amazing at controlling things we don't even notice. I think we make a good team. Lyra tilted her head. Good, yes. But trust alone is not enough. We must anticipate, react, and respect each other's strengths. Before Ethan could respond, the sensors beeped urgently. A cluster of unknown ships appeared on the display, dark, angular, and clearly armed. Pirates, Lyra said calmly, her fingers moving over the controls. They likely patrol this sector looking for freighters. We are convenient targets, Ethan's stomach tightened. And what do? Lyra's eyes glimmered. We do what we do best. You will follow my instructions exactly. Improvisation is your strength, but for now trust is more important. Ethan swallowed hard. All right, lead the way. The pirates moved closer, their sensors picking up the Star Warden despite its cloaking attempts. Lyra activated emergency shields and adjusted the ship's energy flow. Evasive maneuvers now, she commanded. Follow my lead. Every vector must be precise. One wrong turn and they will hit us. Ethan's hands flew over the controls, mirroring her movements. The ship twisted and dodged, weaving through asteroid debris with astonishing agility. He had flown many ships before, but nothing like this. The Star Warden felt alive under Lyra's guidance, almost as if it anticipated the pirates' every move. Your instincts are useful, Lyra said, her tone tight but approving. Use them. Do not hesitate. Ethan gritted his teeth, trusting both the ship and her instructions. The pirates fired, lasers streaking past, narrowly missing them. Every shot was dodged with a combination of Lyra's precise control and Ethan's sudden, unpredictable adjustments. This is insane, Ethan shouted over the alarms. We're too small to survive this normally. Lyra's expression remained focused. We are not normal. We are humans and aliens working together. That is enough. Minutes stretched like hours. Ethan could feel the sweat on his brow as he twisted the controls, dodging debris and enemy fire. Lyra's calm, analytical guidance kept him from panicking. Finally, she spotted a narrow gravitational channel between two asteroid fields. Through there, she said. It is risky, but it is our only chance to escape. Ethan hesitated. Are you sure? It's barely wide enough. Lyra's violet eyes locked on him. I am sure. Trust the ship, trust me. Trust yourself. Ethan's heart pounded as he aligned the ship. They slipped into the narrow channel, asteroids brushing past the hull. Every moment felt like the edge of disaster, but Lyra's voice remained steady, giving him the rhythm to move perfectly. As they emerged on the other side, the pirate's ship lost visual contact. Ethan exhaled, gripping the controls tightly. That worked, he said, voice shaking. I can't believe it. Lyra gave a small nod. You survived because you listened and acted with the ship. Improvisation alone would have failed. Coordination saved us. Ethan laughed, relief washing over him. Well, teamwork then. Not bad for a human-alien partnership. Lyra's lips curved into a faint, almost imperceptible smile. Partnership, yes. We will see how far it goes. The rest of the journey to the research outpost was calmer but still filled with learning. Ethan began to understand the ship's subtle systems. How to balance energy between engines and shields, how to anticipate environmental hazards, and how to cooperate with Lyra in ways he never imagined possible. You humans are courageous, Lyra remarked at one point. Even when faced with danger, you do not give up. That is admirable, Ethan shrugged. I guess we just don't like losing. And we don't like being outsmarted by anyone, or anything. Lyra tilted her head, her expression thoughtful. You underestimate your own species. Your ingenuity can solve problems I would not even consider. You adapt, and that is powerful. Ethan smiled, feeling a strange pride. To be praised by someone like Lyra, someone so skilled and intelligent, felt different from human compliments. It was validating, in a way he had never expected. When they finally arrived at the outpost, Ethan felt both exhausted and exhilarated. The outpost commander, a gruff human with cybernetic enhancements, greeted them with surprise. Never expected a freighter to show up this fast from Theta 9, the commander said. And what's this? You've got an alien on board? Ethan glanced at Lyra. She stood gracefully, her presence commanding attention without demanding it. Lyra is my co-pilot, Ethan explained simply. The commander raised an eyebrow but didn't question further. Well, your timing is perfect. Supplies are running low and we need these for the research teams. Ethan and Lyra worked quickly to offload the cargo. Lyra's movements were precise and her understanding of the technology made the process faster than Ethan could have managed alone. The humans at the outpost watched in awe as alien and human worked seamlessly together. You two make quite a team, one technician remarked. Ethan grinned at Lyra. Told you. Humans and aliens unstoppable together. Lyra's eyes sparkled faintly. Perhaps you are learning. Before they left the outpost, Lyra accessed the ship's hidden data logs. She scanned encrypted coordinates embedded in the systems. Ethan watched her, curious. What is that? He asked. Lyra's expression grew serious. These coordinates lead to a location unknown to most species. An artifact of my people, capable of immense energy production. It is lost to time, but the ship recognizes it. We could retrieve it, if we are careful. Ethan's eyes widened. Lost alien artifact? That sounds dangerous, Lyra nodded. Dangerous, but also valuable and important. I must find it, if possible. Ethan felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. So our first mission was just the start, huh? Now we have a real adventure ahead. Lyra's lips curved slightly. Yes, and it will test both your skills and your humanity. Ethan glanced at her, feeling the weight of responsibility again. He had bought a ship, but he hadn't just bought metal and circuits. He had bought an opportunity to survive, to learn, and to prove that humans could rise to any challenge. Somewhere deep in space, beyond the known lanes and familiar stars, the first real test of their partnership awaited. And Ethan knew one thing for sure. With Lyra by his side, he was ready for anything. The stars stretched endlessly as the Star Warden moved into uncharted space. Ethan sat in the pilot seat, hands steady on the controls, though his eyes were constantly shifting across the display panels. Lyra hovered beside him, her long silver hair flowing like liquid in the anti-gravity cabin. The hum of the ship and the soft glow of lights created a calm, almost meditative atmosphere, but Ethan knew better than to relax completely. This sector is largely unexplored, Lyra said, her voice steady but alert. There are energy fluctuations, gravitational anomalies, and unknown objects. We must proceed carefully. Ethan nodded. I've flown through rough space before, but nothing like this. Ready to guide me through it? Lyra's violet eyes glimmered. I am always ready. But remember, survival depends on cooperation, not just skill. Your instincts are useful, but we must combine them with logic. Ethan chuckled. Logic and instinct. Sounds like a perfect team to me. The first challenge appeared quickly. A dense cluster of meteorites loomed ahead, tumbling through space at unpredictable speeds. Ethan adjusted the thrusters, trying to chart a path through the field. Too fast, Lyra warned. We need precision, not just speed. Listen to the ship, feel it. Anticipate the movement. Ethan took a deep breath and let the ship respond almost as if it had a mind of its own. Lyra guided him through minor adjustments, and together they weaved the Star Warden through the tumbling rocks. A small fragment hit the hull with a loud metallic clang, but the shields held. You did well, Lyra said quietly. Better than I expected. You are learning, Ethan smiled, pride rising. I guess I'm getting the hang of it. After hours of careful navigation, they reached a region where the sensors picked up unusual energy readings. Lyra's fingers danced over the holographic controls, analyzing the signals. This is fascinating, she murmured. These readings are consistent with remnants of ancient alien technology. Not active, but detectable. It could be related to the artifact I mentioned. Ethan leaned closer to the display, squinting at the complex patterns. So this could be the right path? Lyra nodded. Possibly, but we must be cautious. Other explorers or scavengers may be nearby. The artifact is highly sought after. Many would take risks. Risky for us, deadly for them. Ethan grinned. Sounds like we're about to enter the real adventure. The thrill of the unknown filled him. Every jump, every maneuver was a test of both skill and trust. He had never felt this alive in space before, and Lyra's presence made it even more intense. As they moved deeper, a shadow appeared on the sensors, a sleek, fast-moving vessel approaching from an unexpected angle. Ethan's pulse quickened. Pirates? He asked, tension in his voice. Lyra's eyes narrowed. Not pirates. These are explorers, more experienced than average, possibly rival treasure hunters. They are aware of the artifact's existence and may attempt to reach it first. We must proceed carefully. But we must also avoid direct conflict if possible. Ethan gritted his teeth. Easier said than done. Any ideas? Lyra's lips curved slightly. We can outmaneuver them. They rely on speed and firepower. But we have precision, strategy, and knowledge of the ship. Follow my instructions. For the next few hours, Ethan and Lyra engaged in a high-speed game of cat and mouse. The rival vessel shadowed them, attempting to cut them off and force them into a trap. But Lyra's foresight, combined with Ethan's improvisation, allowed the Star Warden to slip through asteroids, dodge energy flares, and use gravitational currents to gain distance. You humans are clever when you have no choice, Lyra remarked. But sometimes recklessness could be fatal. Control your impulses, Ethan laughed. Easy for you to say. You've got a 100-year advantage in piloting skills over me. Lyra's expression remained calm. Skills are meaningless without discipline. You humans are learning, slowly but surely. They finally reached a small rocky planet where the energy readings were strongest. Its surface was rough, covered with jagged mountains and deep craters. The sensors indicated that the artifact or its remnants was hidden somewhere within the terrain. This is it, Lyra said softly, but we must descend carefully. The gravity here is unpredictable and the terrain is treacherous. Ethan adjusted the landing protocols. I've done landings before, but nothing like this. Ready to guide me down? Lyra nodded. Always. Follow my lead and do not panic. The ship responds to confidence and precision, not fear. The descent was tense. Every adjustment mattered, and the slightest error could send them tumbling into the jagged rocks below. Ethan felt the adrenaline surge as he followed Lyra's guidance. Finally, they touched down on a relatively flat plateau near the center of the readings. We made it, Ethan whispered, relieved. Lyra's eyes glimmered with satisfaction. Barely, but we made it. This is only the beginning. The artifact is here, but so may be danger. We must proceed with caution. They explored the planet's surface carefully. The terrain was harsh, with sharp rocks and sudden energy surges that interfered with the ship's systems. Ethan relied on both his instincts and Lyra's knowledge to navigate. Every step brought new challenges. Unstable ground, sudden fissures, and strange energy patterns that seemed almost alive. At one point, a small group of robotic sentinels emerged from the rocks. They were old, damaged, but still functional. Ethan readied the ship's defense systems, but Lyra shook her head. Do not attack unless necessary. Observe first. These are remnants of the original Guardians. They test for intelligence and worthiness. Ethan hesitated. Worthiness? Lyra nodded. The artifact is not given freely. It requires understanding, cooperation, and respect. Only those who prove themselves can approach it safely. Ethan swallowed hard. All right, then we better prove ourselves. Together, they carefully avoided the Sentinels' patrol paths, analyzing their movements and learning their patterns. Ethan's human creativity allowed him to predict gaps in the patrols, while Lyra's precise calculations ensured they stayed within safe zones. It was a slow, careful dance, but it worked. They reached the central energy field where the artifact rested, dormant but pulsating with a strange, captivating light. Ethan stared at it in awe. It's incredible. I've never seen anything like this. Lyra's eyes softened. This is a piece of my people's history. It represents knowledge, power, and responsibility. It is not a toy or a tool. It must be respected. Ethan nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on him. I understand. We'll treat it carefully. As they studied the artifact, a new challenge appeared. The rival treasure hunters had followed them, landing at a distance and observing. Their ship's sensors were active, and they were clearly planning to intervene. Lyra's eyes narrowed. They are testing us. They may attempt to claim the artifact by force. We must be ready, but we cannot underestimate them. Ethan's hands clenched the controls. Then let's be ready. We've come this far. I'm not giving up now, Lyra nodded. Good. Your determination. It is human and admirable, but remember, cleverness alone is not enough. Strategy and cooperation will win the day. For the first time, Ethan realized how much he had learned from her. He had started as a lone pilot, brash and inexperienced in alien customs. Now he was part of a team, combining human adaptability with alien precision. Together they had survived dangers no human pilot could face alone. As they prepared for the inevitable confrontation, Ethan felt something new. Confidence. Not just in his skills, but in their partnership. They were stronger together than apart, capable of facing challenges that neither could overcome alone. And deep in the heart of the planet, the artifact pulsed as if recognizing them, not as intruders, but as worthy seekers. Ethan glanced at Lyra. Ready to show them what we can do? Lyra's violet eyes sparkled with determination. Always. Let them see the strength of a human-alien alliance. The stars above seemed to watch silently, waiting for the next move. And Ethan knew that whatever came next, they would face it together, with courage, ingenuity, and trust. Ethan Vance tightened his grip on the controls of the Star Warden, his eyes flicking between the displays and the rival treasure hunter's ship parked at the distant plateau. Their ship glinted menacingly in the sunlight. Their intentions clear. They wanted the artifact, and they were willing to fight for it. Lyra floated beside him, her expression calm, almost serene, but her violet eyes burned with determination. They will attempt to take it by force, she said. We cannot underestimate them. But we do not need to fight recklessly. Strategy and precision will give us the advantage. Ethan exhaled slowly. All right. I trust you, Lyra. Let's show them what humans and aliens can do together. Lyra's faint smile reflected a mixture of respect and approval. Good. You have learned much on this journey. Now we must act as one. Ethan initiated a defensive maneuver, moving the ship in subtle arcs around the plateau to avoid direct exposure to the rival vessel's sensors. Lyra guided him in adjusting energy flows between shields and engines, maximizing mobility while keeping their defenses at full strength. They do not expect cooperation like ours, Lyra observed. Humans improvise, aliens calculate, and together, we are unpredictable, Ethan chuckled. Good. Unpredictable is my middle name. Lyra tilted her head slightly. I would not have guessed. But it suits you. Use it wisely. The rival ship made its move, firing warning shots that scorched the nearby rocks. Ethan's heart pounded, but he kept the ship steady. Not bad for a first encounter, he muttered. But we can do better. Lyra's eyes glimmered. Then do better. Using a combination of agility and precision, Ethan maneuvered the Star Warden into a position that gave them cover behind a series of jagged rocks. The rival ship tried to follow, but the terrain slowed them down. Lyra directed Ethan in timing small bursts of speed with the shifting gravity fields to evade their attacks. You humans sometimes act recklessly, Lyra said, voice calm. But your improvisation saves lives. Continue. Ethan grinned, adrenaline coursing through him. Reckless is just another word for creative. Lyra's lips curved faintly. Creative, yes, but also dangerous if unchecked. Focus. With her guidance, Ethan drew the rival ship into a trap. Using the plateau's natural energy fields, they created a temporary shielded zone. The rival vessel's sensors failed, giving Ethan and Lyra a clear advantage. "This is it," Lyra whispered, eyes locked on the artifact. "We move now. Precision, caution, and cooperation. Do not hesitate," Ethan nodded, hands steady on the controls. "I've got you." The ship descended slowly, landing near the artifact with gentle precision. Ethan felt the pulse of energy beneath the hull, a soft vibration that resonated through the ship. The artifact glowed faintly, as if recognizing their presence. Lyra approached it cautiously. "It senses us, not as intruders, but as seekers. That is rare." Ethan watched, fascinated. "So it knows we're worthy?" Lyra nodded. "Perhaps, but we must still be careful. The artifact chooses its recipient based on respect, intelligence, and courage, not force." The rival treasure hunters began to move closer, weapons drawn, preparing to take the artifact by brute strength. Ethan's pulse quickened. "They're not going to wait forever." Lyra's expression was serene. "Then we show them something they cannot overcome. Not with weapons, but with understanding." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "Understanding? Right now we could just blast them and be done with it." Lyra shook her head. "That is not the way. The artifact cannot be claimed through violence. Only those who respect its nature may succeed. Humans often rely on improvisation and courage. Combine that with careful thought and you have a chance." Ethan realized she was right. Fighting would only provoke them, and the artifact would remain inaccessible. "All right. What's the plan?" Lyra gestured to the holographic controls. "We synchronize with the artifact's energy. I will interface and guide you. Your role is to maintain the ship's stability and shield the energy flow. If we act as one, the artifact will recognize us as worthy. The others will fail to interfere." Ethan nodded, determination burning in his chest. "Let's do it." They began the process, Lyra's hands moving with precision over the console while Ethan adjusted the ship's position and energy distribution. A soft hum filled the cabin as the artifact's energy responded, glowing brighter with every careful adjustment. The rival treasure hunters fired weapons, but their attacks bounced harmlessly off the energy shield surrounding the artifact. Ethan felt the power beneath him, thrilling and slightly dangerous, but Lyra's calm voice kept him grounded. "Focus," she instructed. "Do not let fear control you. Act with thought and instinct combined." Ethan adjusted the shields, timing bursts of energy to align with Lyra's interface. Slowly, the artifact's glow intensified, creating a beam of light that connected with Lyra. She turned to him, her eyes glowing with pride. "You are doing well. Your human intuition complements the ship and my guidance. Together we are worthy." Ethan felt a surge of pride and relief. "We did it. I think we did it." The artifact pulsed one final time, and then a wave of energy radiated outward. The rival treasure hunter's ship was pushed back, unable to penetrate the protective field. Their weapons failed, and they were forced to retreat. Ethan let out a laugh of triumph. "Looks like they underestimated us." Lyra nodded, her expression softening. "They did. Humans have potential that even I sometimes do not anticipate. Courage, adaptability, ingenuity. These qualities saved us today." Ethan looked at her, feeling a deep respect and gratitude. "I couldn't have done it without you, Lyra, not even close." Lyra's eyes met his, filled with something he could not name. Pride, respect, perhaps even a hint of trust. "And I could not have done it without you, Ethan. Your species' ingenuity. It is remarkable. You see possibilities I might have overlooked." For the first time, Ethan realized the full significance of their partnership. They were equals, combining human adaptability and alien precision to achieve something neither could accomplish alone. With the rival ship gone, Ethan and Lyra carefully secured the artifact. Its energy field subsided, and the object rested safely in the containment module of the Star Warden. Ethan could feel the excitement and power radiating from it, but Lyra's calm presence reminded him to stay focused. "This artifact is not ours to exploit," she said softly. "It belongs to my people. But we have proven our worth. We have earned their respect," Ethan nodded. "Then we return it safely and maybe find out what else is out there in space. There's got to be more adventures waiting." Lyra's violet eyes sparkled. "Indeed. And now we face them as partners. Human and alien. Together we are stronger than any challenge ahead." Ethan felt a sense of pride and belonging he had never known. Buying a ship on an auction had seemed like the start of a simple journey, but it had turned into something far greater. He had found not just a vessel but a companion, a teacher, and a friend. "Ready to head back?" Ethan asked, a grin spreading across his face. Lyra nodded. "Always. Let us return, and see what awaits us in the next chapter of our journey." As they lifted off from the rocky plateau, The stars stretched before them like a river of light. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers, mysteries, and opportunities, but Ethan no longer felt alone. He had a ship, a companion, and a partnership that transcended species and expectations. Humanity's ingenuity, courage, and moral choices had proven themselves in a way the galaxy would not forget. And as the Star Warden soared into the unknown, Ethan knew one thing for certain. Whatever challenges awaited, they would face them together, human and alien, bound by trust, respect, and the thrill of adventure.